Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Nolan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Nolan. I am a cadet private, which means that I am in the Navy. How many of you have joined the military or know people who have been in the military? Me too. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I always dreamed about going to the Navy. I'm in the military. I would read up on the history of it, and I had family members who fought in World War One. It just seemed cool to me that they fought for their country. So you obviously see a problem with me joining the military, right? I'm deaf. But I always wanted to, in my heart, I always wanted to join. After high school, when I graduated, about 3 months before I went to Gallaudet, I wanted to join the Navy. I went to speak to someone, and I could not read his lips. I told him, I'm deaf, and so we started writing back and forth. He was saying how I had a bad ear, but I would travel to different places and plan to teach people and educate them, which I did for 2 years. But three things happened in the spring. I was teaching history in high school about the war. One of my students came up. She was younger, and she said, I want to join the military. And I said, sorry, you're deaf. My whole life I've been hearing no about joining the military, and now here I was telling her no. It was kind of hit me hard. I had an opportunity to work in Israel. How many of you have worked in Israel? Really? You've all worked in Israel? Well, I had to go there in the summer for an interview. They asked a whole bunch of questions about getting involved. So the third thing that happened in the summer was I set up a RCC center. It's where instead of going to college, you study to get involved in the military program. It makes you ready to join military, the Army. So I was teaching there for a while, and then I emailed someone. So I got a reply email back. The first time, sorry. Oh, for the first time they said, sorry, no. We're interested in you working, getting more involved. I have been teaching up until now. All my life growing up, I had experienced everyone saying no and reading all about the history of military and doing my research and whatnot. So there was the Texas Military War. It was really big for Texas. It's a big independence war. And at Gallaudet, we read about it. And the second one is World War II. There's a lot of people who served in World War II. These are deaf Israeli soldiers. They worked on the line. They had a long list. They were incredibly intelligent and skilled people. Their military resumes are long. So how do you think they communicate with hearing soldiers? You know, they had to read lips during the wars. And write back and forth, and, you know, the hearing soldiers knew a little bit of sign. They had interpreters at the camps who would work with the individuals every day. Sorry, they didn't have interpreters working with them every day. They all had, they did have interpreters every day, and they all, worked together as the deaf military and the regular military members worked together. So as you can see, there's some that were who were amputees. They have to go through this one guy, he lost his arm. It's just crazy. This other person, they were driving and their car exploded and they lost both their eyes. There's also a man who became deaf. He worked on the border. So, as you can all see, it's just they're, I'm sure you're all very impressed. So there's about 80% of U.S. military are non-combatant. So Israeli, they accept deaf soldiers in their military. And 80% of the Israeli, 80% of the U.S. military is non-combatant. So in the fall, I will be teaching a group here, specifically for deaf education in the military, which I've never done before. Kind of explaining how things work. 2 or 3 years before. So, I really have to learn a whole new world. We'll be working together. It's going to be a slow process at first, and then we'll get going. The day of class, no one showed up. And then every morning at 3 a.m. they would start working out. Every Friday there'd be activities. Weekends there was, army practice, military practice. Yeah, and people just started showing up in the morning. We started out with no one, and then more and more people started showing up, working out early in the morning. We didn't have class on Friday. It was more of a training day. Some people just wanted to sit and watch. That was fine. Fridays we would teach marching drill. Everyone had to stand up straight and learn how to salute correctly. After I watched for a while, I was told to go ahead and join, which was awesome for me, and I learned it was better if I stood in the back. Remember, the man that I was emailing earlier? Well, he saw me in the back and he said, no, you moved to the front line. I just thought it was like, it really hit me. Like, wow, I'm going to be, the center of attention right in the front line. One day he came up to me and he told me that I could join, or I could give a presentation on the military. And we were in full Army gear, helmets, guns, the whole shebang. It's a huge honor to wear the uniform. So it really meant a lot to me when I finally wore it. There was no interpreter, so we were responsible for the training, and so there was a lot of struggling back and forth with talking. We got to train on how to use the helicopters, how to land them and drive them. We all had to go up in a helicopter and line up and jump off with airbags. I don't like helicopters. But one after another, they all followed and all jumped out. I was up there. I was really hesitant to jump, and the officer behind me was talking and kind of pumping everybody up. And the line is getting shorter and shorter, and I'm coming closer and closer to jumping off, and finally I did it. It was just cool because there's no separation between. It really felt like there was no separation between us, so we were all one group. We were all in we learned about families, brothers, sisters, the relationships. Yes, there were interpreters in the audience. And we did this all in the morning. It was really beneficial. This is while we were at training. This is Lieutenant Phillips. He was in my squad. He was always, top notch. Like every time I'd see him, he was always pristine with his uniform, and he's just such a skilled person. This is us training, me running. Here's the helicopter with all of us standing around it. This is Castle. He's one of the other teachers at the base. During our workouts, we'd have to time-lab them, like we'd have a run time and a swim time. This is me accepting my medal.